So there are three types of lists, and I know that lists may not seem like that exciting, like we don't really use lists a lot when we're writing, but we use lists actually when you're creating web pages, but they don't look like lists. If you look at most navigations on a website, they're actually lists. They've just had CSS applied to them, so they don't look like a list anymore. All right, we'll get to that. So there are three types of lists to talk about first before we get into the CSS: unordered, ordered, and descriptive lists. So the unordered list allows you just to have bullets, and we can use CSS to get rid of that. But the way that an unordered list works is first you wrap it in the UL for unordered list tags, and then each individual item is wrapped in the LI tag, open LI, closing LI. This is going to create a bullet by default and bring each item down onto its own line. The next one is the ordered list, and just like the unordered list, you are going to wrap it the outside in these tags specifying that it's an ordered list. So this is the OL and my closing OL, and then just like the other one, each individual item will be wrapped in an LI tag. This one by default is going to give you 1, 2, 3. You can change that once we get into the CSS, so that would give you something else like Roman numerals, for example. But the default would be numbers. The third type of list is called the descriptive list, and this one is kind of cool. It allows you to have headings within your list. This one is really great for resumes, for example, like I have set up here. So first of all, you wrap the whole thing in the DL tag, saying this is a descriptive list. And then anything that you want to stand out as a title, you wrap in the DT tag. And then each individual things that you want to be indented is wrapped in the DD tag for descriptive data. And you can mix this up as however you want. You could have two DT tags right after another. You could not have any DT tags. You could have all DD. You could have DD, DT, so on and so forth, any combination that you want. Okay, now we're going to jump over to Dreamweaver and actually put some of these things together. All right, and now over in Dreamweaver, this is one time when I'm going to be okay with you creating a new file by going up to File, New, because we're really creating a one-off. This is not going to be part of a site. It's just going to be a single page for practice, and please do follow along. So I went up to File, New, document type says HTML, doc type says HTML5, and I'm going to hit Create, and I just get a blank page with the little bit of code that Dreamweaver gives us. So I'm going to do this in the code view. First, let's do an unordered list. So what I need to do is have my opening and closing UL tags. All right. And then that's going to be what's going to wrap around my individual list items. And so now I'm going to have my LI tag, and I'll put some text in here. This is list 1, I guess list item 1, and then close it out. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. Let's just copy and paste this a couple of times, and I'll just change the number. This is list item 2, and here we go, and this is list item 3. Now I did change my preferences in Dreamweaver so that it no longer was closing the tag for me, because that was kind of driving me crazy. And if you like it creating the closing tag for you, that's fine. But if you want to learn how to get rid of that, you go up to Edit, Preferences, Code Hints. And there where it says Close Tags, I changed mine to Never. So it's not doing that anymore. All right. So if I look over here, now I can see my list items. All right, great. They have little dots in front of them. We'll get to the CSS part where we can learn to remove the dots. All right, the next time I want to just show you how you could do this. I prefer for you to be able to do this directly in the code, but I also, since we're working with Dreamweaver, want to point that out as well. How could you do this in Dreamweaver without typing it all in yourself? All right, so I'm going to say this is another list item, I'm going to copy this. I'm doing this time in my design view. I'm going to paste it and paste it again. So notice that because I'm hitting the enter key when I bring it down, in Dreamweaver it's putting the P tag around each one of these list items. They're all considered paragraphs because whenever you're over here and you hit the enter key, it assumes it's a new paragraph. All right, so I have these 3 lines here and they have the P tag wrapped around them. Now I'm going to go up to Window and choose Properties. The Properties panel can be very useful, as we talked about before. You can use it for the link field. Another thing you can do is use it to create your list for you. So I'm going to highlight, again, I'm in the design view. If you find that you can't work in the design view, things aren't working, make sure here under design it's on design and not live. All right. Okay, so they're highlighted. And now I'm going to go down to my properties inspector and I'll hit unordered list. And you see what it did? It made it into an unordered list for me. This only worked if my text here was already wrapped in the P tag. This is kind of a weird thing, but it basically converts paragraphs to lists for you. So I just wanted to point that out. You also have the ordered list here. So if I wanted to highlight those and switch that into an ordered list, you can see it wraps the OL tag around and it makes these list items. I personally would prefer for you to learn to just do this on your own. All right, so I guess I don't need to go over the ordered list because you can see it here. OL, OL, and list items. So let's just talk about the descriptive list tag. So that's what I have my DL and my closing DL tag. And now I'm going to put in a descriptive title. So I'll come down a line and I'll put, so that's the DT. And this is going to be a great resume. Sure, I'll put that in. And DT, oh, sorry, missing my closing DT. Let's just click over here so we can see what this looks like. So this is outdented compared to these other list items. And then, so let's go in here and add a DD. So this is something that's going to be indented, DD, and you know, I would put skill 1 and then close it out. Let's see what that looks like, and that is indented. All right, let's just copy this, paste a couple, and okay, so over here, and then I could have another outdented, so I'll do another DT, and this is going to be another set of skills. And I will close that out and look at it over here. So you see how it's outdented, and you get the idea, right? Then you could have a whole bunch of DDs, or you could have 2 DTs, anything that you want, okay? All right, so that's basically all I want to cover for this video. Just remember when you're working with the list items, even though it may not seem important, but it is important for the browser to make sure that you're including those outer tags, whether it's the DL tag, the OL tag, or the UL tag. So it's not just about having the LI tags, opening and closing. All right, and then coming up, we'll learn how to write some CSS and style these.